Good morning, everyone. Today I am in Hickory Run State Park, and I'm going to be hiking the Shades of Death Trail. So lots of cars here today. I'm thinking this is probably a pretty popular trail. All right, and for this hike, Tony will be joining us, as well as Debbie and Shelly. The Shades of Death Trail. So often when I go on these little adventures, I like to look things up, and I don't know why this is called the Shades of Death Trail. And the problem, Tony, we have is that we have no internet down here. So
yeah, well, you were just near.
Not sure why it's called the Shades of Death Trail, but it's kind of beautiful. A lot of roots, we were just saying, so you do have to kind of be careful. So when I looked it up, it says it is 1.2 miles, but it's an out and back, so I think it's actually 2.4 miles if we do the entire trail. But look at these roots. Kind of cool, kind of creepy. And as I say that, maybe that's why it's referred to as the Shades of Death Trail, right? I mean, this root system's kind of creepy looking, isn't it?
That could be
right. So I think we might have just figured it out. What do you think, Deb, Shell?
What's that?
You think it's called the Shades of Death Trail because of the creepy roots here? They're kind of evil looking, right?
They are.
Look at that. Maybe. Look at this. I mean, it almost looks like veins or arteries or something. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird. So far, I am digging the Shades of Death Trail. Do we cross over here, Tone? You could, but that's not the trail. Whoa. So we are following the yellow blaze. And as I mentioned before, I think this is a very popular trail, so we're probably going to be passing a lot of people along the way, and that's okay. Especially on a day like today. Today is September 20th, I believe, and it's maybe 62, 63 degrees. Doesn't get any better than this. It's listed as an easy trail, right, guys?
I think so.
So far, I mean, there's no elevation gain, but you do have to watch these roots. You could easily trip. As we are walking along, I noticed an old stone wall down here, so we have to check that out. So this was probably a dam at one time, Tony?
Well, it almost looks like it goes across.
Yeah, it goes right across the creek. How cool is that? So we don't know what was here before, but you can see this stone wall was built at one time. Maybe they created some type of a pond. Maybe there was a mill here at one time. Hard to say. Because the main portion of the creek is over here. I love when I find these old stone walls. They probably go back a couple hundred years, or at least 100 some years. Oh wow, this is kind of a beautiful spot, Tony.
It is. Yeah, that's neat.
Oh yeah, see? You can see there's Nice rock formations over on the other side of the creek. Do we know what this creek is, Tony?
I'm not sure what.
As I might have mentioned before, we don't have internet down here, so I can't Google as I go. But I will put notes on the video. We're really enjoying this trail so far. It's nice. As we are walking along the creek, which is very shallow. You can actually walk on the creek. It's just water over rock. It's beautiful. I probably mentioned in some of my other recent videos, I really need to do a little bit more hiking again. Always looking through abandoned locations or old rail stations. And I love doing that kind of stuff, but every now and then, I want to remember why I started this channel, primarily to get outdoors and do some hiking. Just kind of cool how the rock has different levels. Not much of a chance getting lost on this trail. It's extremely well marked. Oh wow, what are we coming up on now, Tone? We've got some pretty cool stonework. I think this might be an old dam. Maybe yes, maybe no. I know there's supposed to be an old dam here, but you can absolutely see something was here. Maybe an old mill, maybe, Tony? Yeah. Oh my God. Very cool. And I'm getting excited, not just because of the stone wall, but you're going to see it in a second. There's a really very cool stone structure which appears to be some type of a dam. And we're headed over to that now.
Yeah, like what was all this for?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This probably was a mill.
Foundation.
A foundation for something, but I'm thinking if it was right on the creek, it might have been a mill, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we are approaching the dam. Oh my God. Now that is just very cool. So I want to get as close as I can. I'm pretty much just working with my GoPro. I do have my other camera, but it's always a pain to get it out of my camera bag. It's pretty awesome. Now, these rocks are probably slippery, so I don't think I want to do too much climbing up. And you can see all that stonework. I think I'm going to try to get up here because I'm curious how far this wall actually goes. All right, so I made it up. And there is the view from up here. We're pretty close to the top of this wall. Just a beautiful shot of the falls. As I mentioned before, it's a popular trail, so we are not alone. That's okay, though. Beauty like this is meant to be shared and enjoyed. So that wall just stretches all the way over that way. And then we're headed way back this way. Where you can see it kind of just ends right here, and then there's a natural rock formation. So anyway, so I'm gonna have to be careful going back down because these rocks were like extremely slippery. So I don't necessarily suggest if you come out here that you climb it unless you have some really good footwear and you're used to climbing. So I made it back down. My feet are soaking wet. And my jeans are kind of wet too, but hey, it is what it is. Now this is pretty cool, Tony. Look at the, I'm always amazed by how nature finds a way. So, I don't know if you can see that tree, but see how it's growing like on top of that rock and then it shoots straight up. I mean, to me, I just find that amazing. Very, very cool. And these are rhododendrons, Tony?
Yeah.
Tony says, I guess. We have this conversation all the time because rhododendrons and Mount Laurel, right? They look pretty much the same. They look very similar. Oh yeah, and then this one is growing right. Like, I don't even know how it grows like that. It's amazing. But they all find their way up so they can get the sunlight. Very, very cool. I'm so happy to be back out in nature. What, Tony?
I'm gonna guess this was a natural waterfall and then they built this dam on top of it.
So Tony is saying he believes this probably was a natural waterfall, which kind of makes sense because this here, that's natural rock. And then there's the stone, the cut stone above it. So quite possibly this was a waterfall. We'll know more when we get up there, right?
Yeah.
Just another look at the stonework and a different angle. So what I was saying down there, and this is natural stone, and then there's stone stacked on top of it. You know, I said cut stone. I don't think they're cut stone, right? I mean, I think they're just stone. All right, now I gotta try to catch up to Debbie, Shelly, and Tony. So I am very curious as to why this was built, but I will do some research and put some notes on the video. All right, so now we're walking on top of the dam. Here's where the creek runs, and then we have this opening, and then a very steep drop. Tony's holding on to my arm. Ah. All right, well that's very cool. All right, so Tony's saying 35 feet.
I think it's more like 40.
Debbie says 40. What do you think, Shell? So I'll say 38.
Let's get the tape measure.
How many? Yeah.
It was probably for
So then we have some steps here, which are very cool. Now, Tony, you said this was just cut right out of the stone. I don't think it is. Look,
No.
there are individual stones.
Yeah, no, the steps aren't, but I think the rock was kind of. Maybe not. This might have been laid here too. Yeah.
So Shelly pointed out there's this really little butterfly right there.
Oh my
Hopefully that's coming out on the camera, but
There you go.
it's really little.
It's a baby.
I just want to pop down here to the creek real quick. What's really nice, it's really pretty. Now, I don't believe this GoPro is made to go under the water, but hopefully it's coming out on the camera, but it's like a glowing green moss on the bottom of the creek. I don't know if you'd really call it a waterfall, but it's beautiful. It's one of those like where the rocks are at different levels. That is just a beautiful picture.
Yeah, it's over here. Oh, look at that.
Now, Tony, this looks cut, right? Like that, or was this created, or that's just nature made it that? I mean, it looks like
I think it cracked and fell down. It was probably a feet across here at one time. Just like this.
Yeah.
It was only higher and it kept cracking and getting worn down. Over a million some years, Jim.
I'm really liking this trail. I just think this area is really beautiful. There's different levels of stone, and then that leads up to that little waterfall. And this is nature's work. And I gotta tell you, it almost looks like someone carved out a, I don't know, like a swimming hole you'd see in a resort or something. It's quite beautiful. What, Tony? Oh, yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna follow this down. You can see here, it creates like a little channel. Oh, yeah. I see what you're talking. Oh, wow. Look at this. This is really just a wonderful spot. And today's a beautiful day. It's really not that hot. It's maybe, I think I said before, like high 60s. It's probably in the 70s at this point, but like even on a crazy hot day, this is probably a really refreshing hike because you're in the shade most of the time. Hence the name Shades. Not sure where they got death from, but you're pretty much in the shade all the time and you're near water. So I'll have to remember that when I'm looking for a hike on a really hot day.
No wading, just swimming.
You're not allowed to swim in here.
No.
I wonder why. Probably they don't want a lot of people coming down here swimming. 'Cause
Right.
Then people start bringing radios,
Right.
and it gets a little nuts sometimes. So the trail goes off this way. There's another little waterfall here, which is pretty cool. Again, we are not alone. So when I started the video, I was asking why is this referred to as Shades of Death? But I kind of get it now. I mean, it's kind of eerie, but eerie in a beautiful way. So like if this is death, it's not as bad as we make it out to be. This is kind of cool, Tony. Look at that old tree.
That is an old tree. 2 me wide.
That's 2.1 Tony's wide.
Yeah. I'm sure it's way more circumference. Let me see what it means. Ooh,
I almost twisted my ankle. So if you come down here and make a video, just be sure to keep, be sure to keep an eye on the actual trail. Dippy Jen was looking in the camera. Like I said, this is not a difficult trail by any stretch, but if you're not paying attention, you can easily twist your ankle. I almost walked right through this. I was looking this way, following the trail, and Tony's like, look at this, but check this out. So, yeah, they made a little stairway up. In fact, that's the trail, Tony. So once again, as easy as this is to follow, I would have went off trail. But check this out. How this is cut right between, I would assume this is cut, this was all one stone at one time. And then we have these beautiful, beautiful stairs.
Yeah. The fortress.
I am really glad we came here, Tony. Now that autumn's here and the weather is not too crazy hot, I think I'm going to plan more hiking trips. Now, I wouldn't call this a boulder field, but it's very rocky. And if you watch my videos, you might have seen I was in this park before. I went to the boulder field, which is pretty cool. We're not going to get there today, but very rocky. Rocksylvania, right, Tony?
Yep. Well, it's turning into a little one.
Yeah.
As we split apart.
Just a very enjoyable trail to hike. And yeah, there's a lot of other people here today, but I'm thinking if you came here like on a weekday, you'd probably have most of the trail to yourself, or if you come here in the wintertime, which may actually be a whole different experience. Yeah, Tony said it might actually be closed. Sometimes they close trails in the winter, and that does not make me happy. I mean, I think if you're cautious. Now, that may not be that impressive, but what I really like about that, it's a very calm sound. You know, I don't know if this is scientific, but I gotta think, with all the depressed people we have in this country, if we just organized more hiking trails for people, I think we'd be much better off. What, Tony?
The sound was a babble.
A babble? Is that a real word, or
Like
did you make that up?
Brook.
A babbling brook. A babbling brook. Yeah, I'll roll with that. All right, so there you go. That is the babbling brook. Is this the trail over here, or do we go back?
I think it's there.
This trail is just full of wonderful areas like this. One of these days, I'm gonna start bringing like lunch with me, right? Wouldn't that be kind of cool, Tone, to sit here and just relax and have lunch? So as I was just admiring the beauty here, it almost appears as if there's stonework over here, if you can see that. So maybe this must have been a dam at one time as well. Do you think? And like this being cut like that is interesting to me. Is that natural? I don't think so. But right over here, there's the remnants of an old wall, which Tony was asking if it was natural, but no. I don't believe this is. This was stacked. Who knows when? Right? Definitely that was stacked at one time. At least, I gotta say I'm 90% sure. So maybe at one time there was a dam that crossed here. If you know more about the area, please leave it in the comments. Yeah. So we kind of created a little loop and we're back at the dam. And Tony and I both felt like it just looks like it's more water now than it was earlier. I'm not sure if that's the actual case or not, but definitely wanted to get another look at the dam. So I think I'm just going to end my video here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you could give it a like, it would be greatly appreciated. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much, and have an awesome day.